Hey everyone, and welcome to a new Gladly Global podcast. You might not know who I am, not a problem. My name is Aeri, and I'm in North Carolina today, and I will be talking with Anna in Italy.
Hello, I'm in Italy. So let me just get out of the way that if there's some awkwardness between us, if we talk on top of each other, it's because we're on a call and there's delay, so that's why.
I can't see when Anna's talking, so I keep talking, and then we're just talking over one another, so
Yes.
we'll try our best here.
Yes. Alright, so today we're talking about academic studies. Woo.
Exciting.
Do you want to explain, Erin?
Sure. So I get many questions, and I know Gladly Global as a whole on Instagram, we get many inquiries as to whether it's worth paying for a degree in languages. You might have the passion, you might have studied previously, but there's a difference between studying on your own, going to a language school, going to the country, using the language for work, and actually taking classes and a formal degree.
Yes.
So I wanted to try and elucidate some points and give insight as to our personal experiences and see if that helps you formulate your own.
Perfect. I couldn't have said that better. Anyways, I would start just talking about our experience a little bit. So, I graduated at University of Venice in 2017, and my major is called Languages, Culture and Societies of Asia and Mediterranean Africa, but my curriculum is about Japanese culture and language, so I studied mainly that, but also I did a side course of Korean at the same time. And Eri, just tell about your experience.
Yeah, sure.
And then we talk about the rest.
Just to introduce it briefly, I started studying languages in high school, and I went with my hobby, so ended up graduating with a degree in Asian Studies, concentrating specifically on Mandarin, minoring in Korean. After I graduated, I'm a little bitter, they added the major for Korean. So, that's life. But I've taken many courses. I think when I started undergrad, I didn't know what to do, so I took Russian, I took French, Chinese, Japanese, Korean.
Yeah.
I had to cut some out to graduate on time.
I understand the feeling of wanting to do everything that is possible doing.
Yeah, especially with languages. 1 is never enough for me.
Yeah.
And then with 2, I'm like, why not 3? Why not 4? Why not 5?
I know the feeling very well.
Dangerous spiral.
Yeah. So anyways, I wanted to talk about what we did after we graduated. So in 2017, after graduation, I went to Japan straight away. I just wanted to use what I learned, and so I went to I went to Japan to study in a Japanese school for 1 year more or less, and then I found a job in a Japanese company. Let's not talk too much about that part of my life because it was very depressing, honestly.
Aww.
But now, after 1 year and a half, I decided to come back to my hometown, and I'm here in Italy, trying to get a new start. Let's say that. And what about you, Eri?
So, slightly different. I graduated, up until the point at which I graduated, I'd used my language skills extensively. But once graduating, I wasn't sure what to do. I think I made the mistake of not formulating a clear plan. So I decided to take a gap year. Now I'm applying to a graduate degree in finance and accounting, hoping to use my language skills in my future career, perhaps work abroad. I'm already an immigrant to the US, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's just been a continuation of reading in my own time. I haven't been able to go to Korea because of Corona.
Yeah.
So that's a shame.
Yeah.
But I speak with Korean family members all the time, so I can keep up with it.
Yeah, that's why your Korean is so good, damn it.
No.
I want to learn Korean properly because I said that I've studied during university, but it's a side study. For me as well, it was a minor language study, so I was like, I wish I studied it better at the time.
I mean, for me, we had the minor only went up to modern Korean literature, so we analyzed literature starting in 1910 through to the modern day, and that was the class that really served to... It spurred my language skills, it spurred some kind of improvement and better grasp of the culture and language. Before then, I wasn't that great, to be honest.
Yeah. No, but that's interesting, right? You don't only study, like, modern culture, but you also study how everything came to be, let's say.
Exactly. Yeah, alongside history classes, too.
Yeah.
Taught in English, though. I wish they were taught in Korean.
And we are already talking about what I wanted to talk about, which is like, actually, like, what do you study at university? And like, do you only study in classes, or do you also study outside classes? So yeah, let's talk about that, because I don't know about you, but I had like most of my knowledge I just gathered when I was outside classes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right?
You can't succeed otherwise. You'll just kind of blend in with the other students, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you want to stand out and show you're passionate, as a major, someone pursuing a major in the language, you kind of have to force yourself to engage outside of the classroom. Otherwise, people won't think that you care about learning more. I know that sounds bad, but to be competitive...
Yeah.
You truly need to engage with native speakers, watch TV, listen to music, read books, poetry. It's never ending.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I was very lucky because University of Venice is really strong on Asian studies. Mm-hmm. So a lot of Asian people come to Venice to study not languages, but other things like economics or linguistics or something else.
Same at Chapel Hill.
Yeah, it's a good center for like cultural exchange, let's say, about between Italy and Asia in general. Not only Japan, also China and Korea and other countries as well, of course.
Yeah.
And so I was lucky because I was able to engage with native speakers that were my age and students, and were willing to go out and just like,
exactly.
exchange together opinions about culture and language studies. And
yeah,
I think like I could have not learned a language without that. Like I could have not learned Japanese only like writing kanji characters all day long, right?
No. No, you won't get very far. I don't think I would stick with Japanese if that's all I did.
Yeah.
You lose the fun in actually using the language. That's the whole point, talking with people.
Exactly, like...
Not just writing stuff down on a notebook or...
Yeah, you need to constantly remind yourself what the purpose is. And when you're studying at university, sometimes, like, there's so much knowledge that is thrown at you, no? It's like...
Yeah.
All these books and all these characters to learn and everything, like you need to study, exams. And then like it's easy to get frustrated, at least for me that's what it was. And like the community of it is what like keeps it all together.
Absolutely. Without that, it's very difficult. You need other people struggling alongside you.
Yeah.
To really feel better about it when you have 200 Chinese characters to learn overnight, plus idioms, cultural points, grammar points.
Yeah.
Practicing listening comprehension even.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to know what to do without the support of your peers who can help you along the way.
For sure.
To further your point in terms of meeting people at university, I met someone called Chu Chu.
Mm-hmm.
Chu Chu. And I became friends with her. She's originally from China. And through that acquaintance, I managed to actually go to China and visit her family. And without having studied Mandarin at university, I don't think I would have been able to go or found that opportunity to meet someone who was willing to have somewhat of a cultural exchange and explore the country with me who's my age.
Yeah, that's definitely like... The same thing happened to me as well. Like the friends that I made at the time just like stayed there like constant in my life. And so also when I decided to go to Japan later, there was always some classmate, like ex-classmate, that was staying in Japan, like working as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Same here.
Yeah, I've never felt alone, or like there was always like support, but also like the freedom of saying I'm taking like my own way. I'm gonna do this because I want to do it, but I have like friends that are supportive.
Yeah.
Alongside.
And it's not as hard when you have that degree because you're comfortable with not knowing how to speak to people, or if you don't have a certain level of vocab, you have those skills that you've garnered throughout your degree to find out things on your own. It's not so much a deer in headlights anymore.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. And you're already familiar with the culture, so integrating and taking part in life there is a bit easier, I think.
Yes.
It's not as much of a shock.
Yes, that's definitely, because like we always talk about when you're studying a language, when you're a beginner, like you're so confident, you're like, oh yes, I know so much. And then like,
I know how to say ni hao.
Yeah, right? I know how to say hello and like bad words or something. And then like you get to a point when you're studying and you're like, oh my God, I don't know anything about this. I will never be able to speak. And there's like the depression stage, let's say.
Yeah.
And like you need like to keep going to like get it one step further and like be able to actually not be fluent, let's say. And it's good to have that when you're like I remember that I had this when I was in my second year of university, and like they always say, like for me it was like from one day to the other that I was able to I remember that I was so bad and I couldn't speak and stuff, and then like one day I just like got drunk. Can I say that? I got drunk with my friends and I was able to speak.
I mean, it's the truth. It's what happened.
Right?
So
I mean, drunkenness is the secret behind fluency in my opinion.
Well, that's like another point I think everyone needs to know. If you start a degree thinking the degree will give you everything you need to become fluent, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But you're mistaken. It's all about your passion and what you put into the degree.
Yeah.
Quite honestly. Don't expect to walk out of it knowing everything. Don't expect to walk out of it knowing more than people who've lived or worked in the country or taught themselves. You just have to know how to take advantage of what's given to you, and then that can prove to your advantage later.
I completely agree, because you can graduate and not be able to speak languages at all.
Yeah.
You can just because being able to pass the exam is not the same as being fluent.
Absolutely not. You can memorize answers to questions all you want, memorize grammar points, but going or talking to someone and actually having someone talk to you in a way that doesn't fit the cookie cutter phrases or grammar points that you've learned, or they're not sticking to the grammar and they're actually talking how we talk in English, you know.
Exactly.
Purposefully manipulating the language to suit their own personality or the point they want to get across.
Yes.
I think it's something you have to learn on your own. The teacher's not going to tell you that.
Exactly. No, I completely agree. Like, I'm glad that a lot of the people that I talk with that have studied academically, let's say, like a lot of people have these kind of opinions, and it's like, okay, no, you can study whatever you want, but like everything that you do while you're studying, like on the side, like with the friends that you make and the other experiences that you make, that's the most important thing, because it's what makes your experience unique, of course.
Exactly.
So,
and taking advantage of study abroad if it's given to you.
Yeah.
As well, as a university student, is fantastic.
Yeah, did you study abroad while you were studying at university?
I did. For one summer, I went to Yonsei University in Seoul. There's a funny story behind that. I hadn't been studying for that long. Before I transferred, I started off in Greensboro because I had a scholarship.
Yeah.
Then I decided I wanted to study linguistics, so I moved to Chapel Hill. I picked up a book in Korean because before then I hadn't studied in class. We didn't have Korean at Greensboro.
Yeah.
And I picked this book up. I finished it in about a week and a half. It's like integrated Korean. I placed out of a year's worth of Korean classes. Stepped in, finished the second year, then went to Korea. and took a placement test. They placed me maybe at an intermediate level. I walked into the wrong classroom because I didn't understand what they were saying, and it turned out I was in the most advanced level, and I just stuck with it.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was very awkward at first because I had no idea what was going on, but
yeah,
I think it was a fantastic experience because however uncomfortable I was, I knew that I could get to that level, and it pushed me to study very efficiently. Yeah, it was fun. It was interesting whenever I started to talk to them in the class, and they were like, why are you in here if you don't know this? But
noob.
I was okay. It's okay not knowing. Sometimes you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation where you're not the best to become one of the people that others are looking up to, I think.
Yes, I will tell you, the first time that I actually went to Japan was after my second year at university, and I decided to just go and do like volunteering in Japan. So
interesting.
I just went by myself.
Yeah.
So like I hopped on a plane. So I went on planes before, but just Europe, it's easy to get on a plane in Europe.
Yeah, it's easier.
So I just got on a plane by myself, and I went to Japan, and I stayed there 1 month. I just did like tourism and also these volunteering experiences, but it's like thinking about the language knowledge that I had at the time, like it was terrible. Like I don't know how I did it. Like it would be hard for me now probably to do the same.
Yeah.
And at the time I was just like, okay, I would just go,
Mm-hmm.
But it was like amazing because of course everything found its purpose. So like I wasn't only studying like grammar rules like all the time just because. I was studying because like it's a tool to communicate with people.
Exactly. And that's a great point. Community service is a great way to use the language. Find people in your community that want to have people to talk to. Like right now because of Corona, doing wellness check calls in Korean or Mandarin if you've got that kind of population. Japan, I don't know how you do that. It might be a bit harder depending upon where you live.
Yeah.
Other than going to Japan like you did, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I mean, there are other tools, so like applications. So I'm not sponsored, but I will always say that was it HelloTalk?
I've never used it. I've heard of something called Hello Talk before.
Yeah, I think it's HelloTalk.
For talking to random people, right?
Yeah, it's you just say like I'm native speaker of Italian, for example, and I'm studying Japanese, for example, and you find like Japanese people that are studying Italian, so people that are native in your target language that are studying your native language.
Mm-hmm.
So of course they're interested in your language, you're interested in their language, so it's easier to create a conversation.
Exactly.
And some friends that I made there I still like talk to this day, and I met them and like we're pals, and we hang around when we are in the same place, of course. But I would say now that the internet is so broad and used by everybody, just like get on it and just find somebody. You don't have to be in the place.
Don't be shy.
Right?
Yeah. If you're shy, you're gonna have to force yourself out of that habit.
But at the same time, I think even if you're shy, like on the internet, when you're talking like on a chat or something, it's easier to communicate. When you're in front of somebody, that's when like if you're shy, it's better.
It's a bit harder, yeah.
But if you're just chatting, I think it's fine. It's easier.
It's less intimidating, I think.
Yeah. I wanted to talk also like about a little bit what the difference is between university and other type of study. So like self-study or like language school study.
Mm-hmm.
I think you, Eri, had a brief experience about that.
So yeah, being in North Carolina, I wasn't sure what to do. I wanted some more formal classes. I decided to take Korean classes at a locally run school. And to be honest, I don't know if I'd recommend it as an advanced student. It was very informal. It was around the time Corona was setting in, so we discussed a lot of different vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nothing that you can't find on your own. And it's incredibly expensive.
Yeah, right.
For what you get, I think. For the amount of progress, I don't feel like it was worth my money.
I have this feeling that language schools are cool if you're like just arrived in the country and you have no idea what the language is about and you have to start from zero. And like language schools are really good to like give you the basic points of what language is, basic grammar things, and like just
exactly
exercise every day so you can go out and be able to communicate with people. But I think when you reach a certain level of knowledge of the language, like you would better use your time, just study by yourself. And I remember when I was studying in Japan for 1 year in language schools, like every day I had to I had to get up and go to school, and I was like so frustrated because I was like, I could use this time doing better things, and instead I have to go, you know?
Yeah, I understand that. Especially when you're in the country.
Yeah.
I don't get it. You better going to a bookstore and picking up a newspaper and a short novel. You'd learn just as much.
Yeah, the problem...
Watching the news, you'd be just as good.
Yeah, the problem is with that is that when you're in a different country, you usually need a visa to stay there.
Yeah,
and if
true.
You don't have a job, you know, it's easier to get just a student visa because you just have to pay the school and then we get your visa, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I think you'd have to really research the school you pick carefully.
Yeah.
And make sure it's suitable for you and your level.
But I don't want to say that language schools are bad, because I also think...
No, they're not. They serve their purpose.
Yeah, no. I also think that the friends that you make there, so like you meet a lot of people that are in your same situation, most likely.
Yeah, you build another community, don't you?
Yeah, right. So a lot of people just go there to study and just go back to their country right after, but you also find a lot of people that are searching for a job. And it's good, you know, it's a good way to exchange knowledge about like how to do stuff, since it's not your country, right? A lot of things could be different. So I would say it's a good option if you're in the country.
I think so. It really depends all on the individual circumstances with all of this.
Yeah.
Depends on your level, how comfortable you are, how independent you are, if you need that community to help you.
Yeah.
If you crave that kind of close-knit community where if you have a question, you have someone immediately available to ask, or whether you can go out and find people on your own, which can be hard if you're not a native.
I agree. And I wanted to also add something about self-study. So we talked about academic study and then language studies, and now let's talk about self-study. I personally think that before actually deciding to study a language by yourself, you should have some kind of experience learning languages, so you have an idea of what are the different methods, or you just you tried different methods and you know what works for you, you know what are the things that you have to learn about the language before. Because I think if you just buy a book and be like, okay, I will study Chinese now,
like me, yeah.
I mean, you need some kind of knowledge about
yeah, you do.
Because I think when I studied English by myself also, because high school system is not very good in Italy, so I studied English by myself before. But still, I think the things that I learned about learning languages during university were very, very important for my to make me the person that I am today, let's say.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm actually trying to learn Chinese by myself. But with the knowledge of okay, when I studied that other language, I did this and it worked. So let's try and do this, or let's research this other thing. Let's do this, let's do that. But it's with the base of knowledge. So that's what I strongly think. Maybe just be guided before, and then just adventure on yourself, by yourself.
It'll make it much easier, because I took French in high school, I took German, Latin in the UK, but none of that prepared me for the college classes, and I feel like it pushed me to find techniques that worked because my grades were on the line.
Yeah.
And so now, I speak multiple languages. I'm learning Icelandic, and I have the tools I need to figure out how to learn it on my own. I don't need a teacher per se.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely understand. Because, like, college is so, like, intense, I would think, right? It's like you have to learn massive amounts of things, like, in brief time. So it's, you are forced to find a method that works, because otherwise
that's it. You won't graduate, you won't pass, or even if you do, it won't be usable at the end.
Yeah, right. But anyways, I would say that, like, if anyways, on our website we do tutoring and mentoring for people that are trying to learn languages also on their own. So if you want to talk with us about your personal experience, and like maybe you want to talk with somebody about, like, you want advice on what you should do, you should definitely contact us on our website, which is gladlyglobal.com, or on our Instagram, which is gladlyglobal_, right?
Absolutely.
And me or Teresa or Elmo or Aeri or other tutors will help you on your journey, right?
That's what we're here for. That's what we're passionate about, and we want other people to not go through the same struggles we have.
Yeah. So in the end, Eri-chan,
Hi.
is it worth it to go to college or university and study there?
For me, yes. It's such an irrevocable part now of who I am, who I perceive myself to be, and it's a skill I want to be able to use in the future. Every time someone asks me, what did you study? I'm very proud to say I finished my degree in Mandarin and Korean, and that I constantly improve to this day. Because it's not so much that I took the classes, it's that I had the tenacity to get through it, and now I'm continuing, and hopefully at some point in the future, I will truly be able to put my skills to the test, use it in a native environment, compete with other people who have been using that language since birth, and be competent in numerous disciplines, being able to discuss various topics.
Yes.
But that's all combined with my graduate studies, so it depends on whether you're going on to another degree like me.
Yeah.
Whether you see yourself teaching English in the country, for instance, that's a popular choice. That's what my cousin does. He loves it. It really depends on you.
Yeah.
You really need to evaluate it carefully.
Yeah, because
before you take the plunge.
Yeah, we were talking before that for me, like, studying at university was really, like, just a treat to myself. So at the beginning, I didn't have, like, a clear plan of what I wanted to do with my life. But I knew that I wanted to learn languages, and I remember clearly that I thought to myself, I want to travel. So I will learn languages, and that's what I did. And right now, like, my life is pretty what my goals were, so I'm pretty happy. But I would say, like, it's good to, like, think about purposes, but at the same time, also remember that you don't go to university only to, like, learn skills to use them in the future, but also, like, to find a community of people that think like you and have similar goals as you, and that can support you in life. And you never know, like, my mother always tells me that the road is built while we walk, so you can always, like, change your mind along the way, and I think that's not a bad thing. Like, you should always go on and, like, see what the situation is for you, rethink about your goals, and just, like, go with the flow sometimes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. Completely go with the flow, see where it takes me, see what opportunities lie ahead as I get there.
Yeah.
And really have fun with it, Yeah. That's what I enjoyed most about mine.
Yeah, I think this is a good note to end our podcast with. What do you think, Erin?
Oh no, putting me on the spot. I would say, like, don't be scared to just take a step in, even if the water is deeper than it initially appeared, and just put yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
See where it takes you. You never know, you might enjoy it. If you don't, you can change your mind. But a language is something that you'll be able to use no matter where you go, and there's nothing better than having studied a language. And even if you don't speak properly, even if you make grammatical mistakes, being able to find someone to chat with that really appreciates that contact with someone making the effort to talk to them in their own language that they can understand properly if they don't speak whatever languages you speak.
Yes.
It's a great moment. It's a great way to connect with people. And it's a great way to understand other cultures, because ultimately, to be a language major, you have to be able to communicate, be respectful,
Yes.
be able to communicate in a manner in which is appropriate for the target audience.
Yes.
It's no different to majoring in your native language. Like if it's an English speaker majoring in English, it opens your eyes to a whole other level that you never saw before of communication and culture.
I completely agree. Yes. All right. So I think we talk about this a lot, but if you have questions, you know where to contact us on our Instagram, gladlyglobal_, or on our website, which is gladlyglobal.com. And we also have a YouTube channel, which is called Live Love Lang, so you can also see our videos there. And am I forgetting something, Eri?
I don't think so. That pretty much covers everything.
All right.
But we're always here to help, and we really appreciate you listening. I feel like we could have talked all day on this subject.
Yes. All right.
See you next time.
Yes. Goodbye.